here's the thing. It took me a second. Like I started doing virtual sales because I moved to Puerto Rico, and it's kind of hard to fly back to North Carolina to run appointments. I'm still taking leads. I'm still engaged. And I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I still do this even though I'm not in North Carolina? And now, I have licenses, like many of us, licenses in I think 46 or 47 states now. So now the entire US is my territory. And I needed to be able to still do that from here in Puerto Rico. So I had to figure out how to do virtual sales. How do I do a Zoom meeting? And this was pre-pandemic that I was trying to figure this out. So there was a little resistance there. But what I came to realize is that the same things and same practices that I use to set an appointment to go sit kneecap to kneecap are the exact same things that I needed to do for virtual sales. I had to stop thinking about it as being different.
Hey, welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest that's not only been on this 8% stage, he's been on the channel multiple times, I think like 3 or 4 times in the last year. His last YouTube interview has over 50,000 views in the first year. How to sell life insurance from home. And we're going to give you virtual sales best practices today. Please welcome back one of my favorite people to hang out with, Edward Pritchett.
Good to be here, sir. Always good to talk with you. Love getting a chance to hang out with you, even if it is in Springfield, Missouri.
Even it's, I know, dude. We gotta do more stuff in Puerto Rico together, right? And I can.
Hey, you're welcome to come back down here anytime. That was a great Power Players. And the sun definitely shines a little bit more here than it does in Springfield.
Dude, no doubt. It was funny. We were like 80 yesterday. Now we're like 40 and rainy today. It's a roller coaster. Yeah, you'd be freezing. Well, man, what we have had. So I was looking at our last interview, which was phenomenal, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, again, how to sell life insurance from home. 52,000 views in the first 12 months, 1,300 likes, over 100 comments. Like, that's been one of our top podcasts ever. Anytime we do anything with you, people love it, man. Agents respond. I think it's just because, dude, you've got a lot of experience. You had a ton of success. I mean, your agency is probably going to do, I don't know, 60, 70 million this year.
Shooting for 75 million this year.
75 million. I knew it was going to be an even bigger number than whatever I said, right? I love that. 75 million in 2023, which is massive. When you first started, was that a little curveball? Was that ever in sight? Was that like ever a thought?
Simple answer, of course, no. That was not a thought. That was not in the realm of possibility. When I got into insurance, I started with a captive agency. When I got into insurance, I just needed to make an income, right? Like, it was the Great Recession had just ended, or no, we were in the middle of the Great Recession. This was 2008, and I didn't have a job anymore. So I was trying to figure out, what can I do to make money so I could eat, so I could pay my bills and things of that nature. And then even when I found the organization that I'm working with and partnered with them to start building my own agency, it was still in the beginning just like I needed to make an income for myself, for my fledgling family at that time. And the ideal of multiple millions of dollars in revenue and, a team doing tens of millions of dollars a year in production, it didn't start that way. But the great thing about this industry, if you plug in and engage in the right way, is you can start to expand your horizons by who you surround yourself with, by who you plug in, by the content that you engage with. And I started to see, oh, wait, this is possible. I could do more with this industry, with this business that I'm doing right now. And it was just, year after year, as we continue to grow, as I continue to grow myself and learn more about the industry, next thing you know, it's you have a $2 million a year. And then you're like, wait, if we did 2, we can do 4. And if you do 4, you can do, and it continues to go there. And this business has a interesting way of being exponential in the growth if you're setting it up right. And that's just something I've been blessed with this organization, with this industry. And at the end of the day, as you know, Cody, the more you continue to work to develop yourself, the easier it is, or let me take that, not easier, the simpler it is to set new and loftier goals and actually achieve them.
100%. I love that you say if you set it up right too. As you guys are joining today and listen, I got a ton of questions. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk virtual sales best practices. Also, at some point, you need to check out Life Insurance Today with the Pritchett Agency, which is Pritchett's life insurance YouTube channel for the industry. It's really a state of the union, state of the industry. He's got some really cool, amazing content we were talking about recently that is coming out soon. Before we get to some of these virtual sales best practices, because everybody's wanting to sell virtually nowadays, and y'all are doing it at the Pritchett Agency really well. You said a second ago, you made a comment. It can be super rewarding and it can really compound exponentially over years if you set it up right. What did you mean? What did you mean by if you set it up right? Because I don't think everybody sets it up right, or they just don't know how to set it up right.
Yeah, and I think I shared this. We did a recent training, and I talked about how to set up a business. Right. So again, I'm sure you'll share the link, or I think they have to plug into Engage to get some of that content. But most people that start in the insurance industry, they're used to being W-2. They've never run a business before. But whether you're a captive agent or an independent agent, you're starting your own small business in the beginning, right? And you have income, you have expenses. You have to look at what is the return on investment whenever you invest in leads, in marketing, in all the other things that are necessary, in the training that you do. And so if I don't set up my insurance practice as a business from the get-go, it gets harder and harder to do that the longer I'm in it, because we get into those habitual things that we do on a regular basis. And if I don't set it up in that with that business mindset, I'm never going to have a business. We've all seen and heard of, cash flow quadrants, Robert Kiyosaki, right? And we know about the employees, and then I want to be self-employed and then go from self-employed to being a business owner so I can become an investor. And most insurance agents that I see, they move from being employees to being self-employed, and then that's just where they stay. They stay self-employed. The mindset is one where I have to work. If I don't work, I don't make money. I'm not going to do any of these other long-term things that aren't going to pay me today, right? I don't want to build an agency. I don't want to, it's just, I'm going to have renewals. Renewals is how I'm going to retire. And yes and no. Like you might be able to, if you sell a lot of insurance, you might be able to retire somewhat comfortably on renewals. But remember, when your clients pass away, those renewals are going to stop. So the older you get, what's going to happen to your clients? Eventually that renewal income has to stop if you're not adding new business onto the books. And the only way to do that without doing it yourself is to build an agency, right? And so it's that business mindset. So that's what I'm saying when we're talking about setting it up right. Are you setting up a business, or are you setting up a self-employed job? Because it's still a job. Are you setting up a self-employed job that's going to keep you trapped in the same cycle that you tried to get out of when you were a W-2 employee?
Yeah. I love that you're saying that. Not W-2, starting small business, revenue and expenses, getting an ROI, building an agency, really starting to attract people to you so that you're building something that is phenomenal. Obviously, before they get there, they got to figure out how to sell, right? And earn some commission. And then eventually, and they can they're building business along the way, but then you're right, they're eventually have a system. It's duplicatable. They can bring in people in. They can help them win and succeed. They can make money too. You can make money off of what they also sell. You've got some best practices that you believe agents are must-haves for selling virtually. Let's walk through some of those. What's the first one of those pieces, and why are following these important?
Well, here's the thing. It took me a second. I started doing virtual sales because I moved to Puerto Rico, and it's kind of hard to fly back to North Carolina to run appointments. I'm still taking leads. I'm still engaged. I was doing a lot of advanced markets work in my first couple of years living down here, and that's still where I do most of my work, is in the advanced market side of things. IULs, infinite banking, annuities, premium financing. And I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I still do this even though I'm not in North Carolina? And now, I have licenses, like many of us, licenses in I think 46 or 47 states now. So now the entire US is my territory. And I needed to be able to still do that from here in Puerto Rico. So I had to figure out, how to do virtual sales, how do I do a Zoom meeting, and this was pre-pandemic that I was trying to figure this out. So there was a little resistance there, but what I came to realize is that the same things and same practices that I use to set an appointment to go sit kneecap to kneecap are the exact same things that I needed to do for virtual sales. I had to stop thinking about it as being different, as this totally like strange and weird thing. The same principles are there. So these keys, there's a couple things on the tech side of things that you have to figure out, but the same principles that applied to in the home sales apply to virtual sales. And the first one is urgency, right? Like whenever I'm trying to book an appointment over the phone, like I got that lead just came in, I'm not going to get on the phone and be like, oh, so, when are you thinking about getting life insurance? And, do you like springtime or fall time to buy life insurance? Like those aren't how we have those conversations, right? It's like, you sent this form in, what's your concern? Okay, you want to make sure that's taken care of. Oh, you want to protect your wife is here, you're looking to protect that. Okay, how soon do you want to make sure that this is in place for you guys? Like last week, I get it. Like if something happened, you want to make sure she's covered and protected today, right? That same sense of urgency has to be for the virtual sales side, right? One thing that we've been talking about a lot in my organization is speed to lead, right? In this day and age, like if I'm getting those digital leads or that Facebook lead or the call-in lead or even the direct mail these days, right? How bombarded are we all getting by advertisements and calls to action and everything else? So like as soon as I'm getting that in, and it's kind of turned us into where, every day I'm going to spend a little bit of time nurturing my clients. Whereas like as soon as I can get them on the phone, or as soon as I can send a text, hey, do you want to do this via text or via phone? They say via phone, boom. Hey, what was your concern? What are you worried about? What are you trying to take care of? Okay. Now I'm listening to them and they're like, how soon? Like, is this important to you and your family? Or is this just something like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. Oh no, this is important. Okay, great. Well, this is important to me. I care about my clients as well. The best thing that we can do is jump on a Zoom meeting. I have some time later on this afternoon, or I can put you first thing in the morning. Which one's going to be better? Okay, this afternoon works. Okay, let me look at my schedule. I have a 3:30 and I have a 5. The 5 works best. Okay, great. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you an email. It's going to have a calendar link. Have you used Zoom before? Oh, okay, perfect. Or if they say, oh, I've never used Zoom, don't worry. It's a quick link. Click on that link. It's going to automatically open up Zoom for you. It's going to pop you in there. I'll be there. And here's the thing. If I say it's going to be a 5 o'clock meeting, I'm logging into my Zoom at 4:47 or 4:57, right? Because when they pop in, I'm there. And because it's urgent. We're trying to get this thing taken care of. We're trying to make sure that their family is protected. So that sense of urgency and using strong language around that. Like this is one of the few places that I'm assumptive. Like after that, I'm switching over to being more where I'm allowing the client to persuade themselves. I've really been following a couple of different sales trainers here recently that have really gotten me sold on the persuasion technique. And it's not me persuading them, but me asking the right questions so that they persuade themselves that this is the time to go ahead and get this taken care of. But I have to bring that sense of urgency, not overly excited urgency, but like I'm a professional. This is a serious matter, right? Like if your lawyer or your doctor picked up the phone and called you, you would take a minute to listen to what they had to say. I am just as important as those two people, right? The welfare, the long-term health of your family depends on us making some proper decisions today. We got to make it happen. And it's just having that feel like you have to, and maybe you can sense it from just me talking right now. Like I'm getting into the mode. Like the juice is starting to flow. It's like I get where I'm trying to embody urgency because we have to take care of this now. And that's what I'm wanting to come across, whether I'm sending a text, whether I'm on the phone with them. Urgency is one of the keys to making sure that they show up for that telesales appointment, they show up to that Zoom, and that you go ahead and get that taken care of in that particular period of time.
Yeah, you just dropped some major nuggets too. Like I even we're going to send you a link. It's a Zoom link. Have you used Zoom before? Like, I love that. Like most agents like, hey, there's a link in the calendar, you'll get it, just click it. Like also too, you took some time to like understand that like when you click it, It's going to open up a window. I'm going to be sitting there. You know what I mean? Like you also, it makes sense. Like I didn't even think about this before, but like if they click on a link and it's like waiting for the host for several minutes or nobody's there and they're just sitting there by themselves, like
You definitely don't want that.
it's freaking weird, like I would leave, right? And I'm sure they do. So
And
it's
that's what they do. Yep.
that's strong. That's some really, really, really good training, right? I told y'all, man, this Edward Pritchett guy knows this stuff, right? Urgency is number one, phenomenal. What's number two?
Number two is just being prepared. And again, this is where like the next couple, it's all about the same things that we did in the home. Like if you don't prepare for your appointments, what do you expect? So it's making sure that you know how to do whatever carriers you're using. If you have electronic applications, do you have those pulled up? Are they ready to go? Right? Like I can't be fumbling around while I'm on a Zoom meeting looking for like, hang on, it's loading. Their website is being slow today. Right? It's like I have my quoting software, it's up. I have the carrier pages, it's up. I have the application that I'm planning on writing, it's up. Like it's ready to go. So I'm prepared in that sense for the appointment. And then even previous to that, have you tried this before? Have you run a Zoom appointment? Have you shared your screen successfully with other people? And if you're not using Zoom, if you're using Microsoft Teams, if you want to try to do this through, I've heard people using Facebook, right? I've never shared my screen on Facebook Messenger, but people, you can do it, right?
Wow.
But if you've never done that before, practice it first, right? Like do it with a family member, a friend, maybe a colleague, share back and forth. There's some other things that people are doing where they're actually connecting two devices. So they have this device, and then I would have maybe my tablet connected as well. So I can use the whiteboard function on Zoom, right? And so I switch to that screen. So while they're still seeing me, I can write. We all used to love to do that when we're in the home, right? We're writing on our little yellow legal pads or whatever to kind of draw out what it could look like for the client. The whiteboard feature, right? But again, if you've never done that before, Zoom has a whole bunch of tutorials. Like if you're watching this, you watch tutorials. So go watch some Zoom tutorials and figure out how to incorporate those things and be prepared so that that client knows that I'm dealing with a professional. I'm dealing with someone who can help and protect my family. And when something happens to me, they're going to be there in a big way to make sure that my family is taken care of. And if you're doing those kind of things, if you're preparing in that way and you're also prepared for that appointment, I have my windows up, I'm ready to go. I'm not having to fumble around for things. I'm using a hard line, right? Like plug your internet into the wall. Stop using Wi-Fi, right? Make sure that at least they can break up and have to cut off their video and all that stuff. You cannot. You have to be ready to go. And so when I have that time blocked out of my schedule where I'm running appointments, I'm not on the road anymore. I'm at my computer in this office right here, sitting at that desk. It's plugged into the wall. Connections are ready. Tabs are up, and we're going.
I love that, man. That's so good. That's strong. Like, and that's some, like, even the network thing. It's like, dude, most people don't even think about that piece. Like that's good. That's the Yale coming out.
Well, that's the over-prepared engineer. That's what that is.
Okay, there we go. I love it. So prep was 2. I know. I'm super grateful for your time. I know you got a meeting coming up in a little bit. What's number 3?
Connection. So and this, again, back to what we did in the home. If you're not connecting with them, if you're not spending some time asking questions, getting to know who your client is, that still has to happen even virtually. And if I'm doing that connection piece, I'm explaining what my role is. I'm letting them know what their role is, right? Like your role is to ask me the questions and to share with me what we can do to protect your family. Does that make sense? Oh, yeah. That's why I booked the appointment. Okay, great. And my role is I'm going to listen to what you're looking to do based off the carriers and the options that I have. I'm going to present you some options. We're going to select the one that's best fitted, and then I'm going to help you apply for the policy that's going to protect the family in the way you want to. And that makes sense? Any questions on any of that? Right? So we know why we're there. Right? Like I'm not there. I love some of the old school training of let's talk about the cat figurines on the walls and like,
Yeah.
oh, is that a baby picture? Who is that? Like, if I'm really interested in that, I'll ask about it, right? But first and foremost, they booked an appointment with a business professional. Whenever, again, going back to the doctor lawyer scenario, you walk into your doctor's office, the doctor's going to ask, how's life? How's the kids? Okay, great. Now, and then now we're getting down to business, like why you're here. Yeah, this rash. Yeah, we got to take a look at this rash. Let me ask you some questions about what's been going on. How, and they dig in. Your attorney, the attorney is probably even less about like how's the kids and stuff. Like when you show up at their office, they're just like, all right, what did you do? All right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's $500 an hour. So you better go ahead and just let me know what, right? And we have to take ourselves with that level of seriousness. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes we belittle our own profession by not taking it serious of the service, like what we provide to our clients. Yes. So I'm wanting to get to know them. Yes. But I'm also there because they request an appointment with a professional. They have a problem, and I'm here to help them solve that problem.
I love it.
Connection, it's asking the questions, but it's making sure we understand why we're there, right? It's the two pieces have to be able to connect, the two pieces of the puzzle. I'm this, you're that. Does it make sense? Great. So now we have a place to start. And we build the rest of the puzzle around that. And so that's where that connection piece has to be there. And I'm looking at it, again, a little bit different way than maybe we've thought about it in the past. But I think this allows you, especially, again, in this Zoom environment, like they don't want to be on a Zoom meeting for an hour and a half discussing, Billy's homework and Judy's recital and all that stuff. They got friends that they're talking to about that. Their own social media, they got those connections. We may share a little bit of that, but what they're here to connect with you on is protecting their family.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure that's where we build the connection around, and everything else can grow from there.
For sure. I love that you even mentioned like what their actual role is in this process. Most people forget that piece. That's really good. So 3 is connection. What's 4?
4 is transparency. And this was, again, easy when we were in the home, right? I'm running the quote right in front of them, right? Whether on my mobile device or on my laptop, I'm jotting things down on a legal pad or whatnot. Now, if the whole meeting is like this, we're just looking at each other. What am I given to give them a little bit of extra confidence that I'm actually quoting them a policy that actually exists with an insurance carrier that they may or may not know? So this is where, that screen share and making sure my tabs are up. I'm going to share my quoting software, right? Like I'm going to have their name in there. They're going to see the name of the insurance carrier. I'm going to type in $100,000. This is your age. This is, whatever other information. Click the button, 20-year term. It's going to be 4732. I don't even have to tell them. They see it, right? Whenever I then move into filling out the application, I pop the application up on the screen. What's your middle name? Social security number? And they're seeing that pop up on their screen. That way, if there's any questions, if I type something wrong, guess what they're going to do? Oh, hey, Edward. No, it's, okay, thanks. Appreciate it. So all through the process, they're saying, okay, now we get to the end. Okay, I'm going to send this for you to sign. You're going to get a text message. Click the link. Go ahead and let me know when you see it, right? And they're seeing the process. Like if they're not seeing it, you're not being transparent.
Yeah.
So that transparency piece, again, it was easy and just automatic when I'm in the home. It's hard to not be transparent when I'm sitting directly across from you. Now we have to be intentional about the transparency that we're giving to our clients as we work with them.
Really freaking good. I love the 2 things. I love sharing the screen through all the pieces. That's provides a lot of transparency and clarity. And then I like that you didn't say, "Hey, did you get that yet?" It's like, go ahead and let me know when you see it. Like you are.
We're staying on the line until that signature is done.
Exactly. Freaking brilliant as well. Staying on there, making sure you get it. Love transparency. What about number 5?
And the last one, and this is again, it does apply to in the home, but it's the technology, right? And this is part preparation, but I think this one has to be kind of separate because a lot of insurance agents are scared of technology. Sorry, it's here. Like we're using it. If you want to be more effective and more efficient in helping more clients out, you have to use the technology. The technology is here for us to do that. So if you're not, again, practicing with it, setting up beforehand, trialing it out beforehand, figuring out what are the things that can make your presentation simpler and better. It's amazing how much faster appointments happen these days. I used to spend an hour and a half in homes. On virtually, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Because again, the intent level is a little bit more serious. Like we're raising the stakes a little bit. Like they're here for a specific reason. They could go out and be doing anything else that they wanted to do, but they're at their desk or in the kitchen, sitting on a computer, getting help from me. Right. So like we're gonna move as fast as they need. Now that's not saying I haven't had some long virtual appointments, right? Sure. But on average, it's just getting so much more shorter because the intent level is getting higher and higher. Mm-hmm. But the things that I can do to use technology to make sure that it's seamless, the application process, I've tested every application that I write on myself. So what does it look like from the client side? What does that signature page look like? Talk with your carriers and see it, like if they have a little sandbox where you can play so that you can see what that looks like. Because if you don't know what they're getting, you're going to look very silly when you say, when they ask you a question, really, they ask you a question, hey, should it say blah, blah, blah? And you're like, I've never seen your side of it before. What kind of confidence does that inspire, right? Good. So know the technology that you're using, whether it's the carrier technology, your laptop, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, whiteboard functions, whatever it might be, dive in. Do a mock appointment and say, okay, do I understand all the tech pieces that I need to use from A to Z in this appointment? And if there's something you don't know, do your research, watch some tutorials, pick up the phone and call a mentor, right? Get that down. And that's what's going to allow you to be more effective, more efficient, and inspire more confidence. That's what people want in a salesperson. They want a confident salesperson. It's easier to like someone who has confidence. And if you come in like that, you're going to be more liked and you're going to get the trust and you're going to get the sale.
100%. I love that. Know it, test it out, be prepared, like actually walk through it all so that you're sure. Number 1 was urgency. 2 was preparation. 3 was connection. 4 was transparency. 5 was technology. I love that you're able to incorporate those and train and like role play and give some stuff throughout that. Like that was absolutely phenomenal. Oh, Dylan, I want to like clip that out and like share that again separately because that's so valuable. Ed, if they want to continue to learn more from you, connect with you, obviously they can go to Life Insurance Today with the Pritchett Agency on YouTube, but where else should we send them?
On Instagram, as along with everybody else, right? So Instagram at the Edward Pritchett. Facebook, we have the Pritchett Agency's Facebook page, my personal page as well. Yeah. We're really excited about Life Insurance Today. I'm looking forward to being able to talk with industry insiders, to talk with people that are in related industries to us, like CPAs, attorneys, certified financial planners, because guys, there's so much congruency between what they're doing and what we do. And the more you can incorporate that into your business, the larger you're going to be able to grow your value add to your client, which means the more value that comes back to you. So that's going to be a real big focus on Life Insurance Today, as well as putting out a lot of the training. I really feel, and this is why I really like working with you, Cody, is that we're in a blue ocean environment. There's so much in this industry. Like people are like, well, I got to keep my training to myself. And that's not going to help you. There's the more families that we can help with this, the more people that can start seeing and learning about insurance. It's going to help all of us that are really plugging in and engaging and trying to be a value add to the end client that we're all trying to find. And there are so many of them out there. So Life Insurance Today, really excited about that, and being able to plug in there. And of course, you can always check out our agency, go.pritchettagency.net/8%. Which is, just all the work that we've been doing with Cody and his team. We're excited to continue to that partnership, and really just helping agents learn more about this industry and take themselves to the highest level they possibly can.
Yes. We'll make sure we link that below to go.pritchettagency.net/8%. We'll make sure we put that in the description below. Dude, I love hanging out with you, doing a YouTube interviews and spitting some game together. And thank you for being a part of the podcast and the channel once again.
Yes, sir. Anytime. Look forward to the next time we get to see each other in person.
Let's go. Thank you, brother. Also, guys, as you're listening to this, let us know in comments what you loved about this, what you picked up from this. Go make sure you reach out to Edward, follow him, thank him, and share this video with somebody else that needs to hear this message about these virtual sales and best practices. Thanks for listening to Power Player Podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Yeah, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.